what's the secret to making your love life more exciting? Let's talk about sex positions, what works, what doesn't, and how they can bring more fun and connection to your relationship. Get ready for simple, real tips to turn up the heat. Do women on top sex positions lead to stronger erection? In sexual positions where one partner rides or straddles the other, achieving a stiff erection is crucial to prevent discomfort or potential injury from hurried or awkward movements. These arrangements are among the rare types of intercourse that present a risk of injury due to a lack of coordination or accidental slips. To minimize risks, it's advisable that partners approach this gradually. First, the woman should assume a position directly above the man, bearing her weight on her knees and slowly lowering herself. Once the initial penetration is achieved, she can explore a variety of movements and postures, facing her partner, positioned with her back to him, kneeling, seated with legs crossed, or swiveling her hips in circular motions or in 3 dimensions. Additionally, she can lie on top of him, akin to a reversed matrimonial position, either with her legs astride or placed between his. After achieving her primary orgasm, she has the option to remain connected and shift to the X position or full matrimonial, allowing him to experience his climax. It's important to note that this style of position requires the man to maintain a firm erection. Some women may prefer to commence with foreplay from a lateral or underneath position, making this riding position more suitable as a follow-up in a sequence of activities. For the woman aiming to bring her partner to orgasm through this process, it often works best as the initial position, ideally in the morning when he is refreshed and more likely to sustain a firm erection. The movements that involve rotating and gently shaking the hips, as the French refer to as la diligence de Lion or Lion male coach, become more natural with experience, especially for those with a predisposition for dynamic motion. Frontal positions refer to those configurations where one partner straddles both of the other's legs, either face-to-face or astride. These include various complex positions that offer greater penetration depth, but might provide lesser clitoral stimulation compared to others. In distinguishing complex postures, if the partners can smoothly transition into a classic matrimonial position without separating or crossing their legs, it is considered a frontal position. If they end up face-to-face astride one leg, it's called a flanquette, whereas from behind, astride a leg, it's termed a cuissade. The focus isn't on intellectually categorizing positions, but on executing them in a seamless sequence. This minimizes the need for awkward or disruptive adjustments like climbing over legs or flipping a partner. The sequence planning becomes intuitive once accustomed to transitioning through multiple positions fluidly in a single encounter. Initially, the leading partner should visualize the progression to avoid hitches and unnatural breaks. The inversion positions can offer intense sensations due to the pressure building in the veins of the face and neck during orgasm. For instance, the man can be seated on a chair while the woman straddles him facing forward before reclining until her head settles on a cushion on the floor. Alternatively, she can lie down and elevate her hips, with him standing between her legs, entering from either the front or back while she stabilizes herself on her elbows or moves on her hands. Those with back issues should avoid these positions. Another inversion posture involves one partner lying over the edge of the bed face up, while the other partner sits or stands astride them. During orgasm, the intensity of vascular pressure can lead to remarkably heightened sensations. What are half-rear entry sex positions? The half-rear entry position involves her turning her back to him while he enters her with one leg positioned between his and the other leg pulled up. In certain variations of this position, she may lie partially on her side to facilitate entry, continuing to face away from him. This setup includes kneeling positions aimed at achieving deep penetration. In basic terms, it involves one partner kneeling while the other reclines. For the female partner, the options are limited as she kneels astride him, determining only whether to face towards or away from him. The male partner has a broader range of choices, such as having her lie flat on the bed with her feet on the floor, or flat on the floor with legs elevated, feet positioned on either side of his thighs, on his chest, around his waist, or even draped over his shoulders with her legs crossed to create a tighter fit. He can decide between kneeling upright or sitting back on his heels. Both positions require some cushioning beneath the knees to avoid discomfort, and the latter may become uncomfortable after a short while, often necessitating a pillow for added comfort and aiming for a span of about 5 minutes before changing positions. Additionally, the placement of her feet can vary widely. This arrangement is particularly recommended for those seeking both deep penetration and G-spot stimulation. The seated positions, reminiscent of pre-missionary styles, were favored in various cultures before being supplanted by the man-on-top posture. In this configuration, she sits with legs spread and he squats or kneels between them, pulling her towards him. Variations include her lying back, sitting on his lap, or both initially leaning away with their hands supporting their weight. This position is practical where one partner's disability complicates prone postures or weight-bearing roles. The Polynesians reportedly favored it for facilitating her orgasm, thanks in part to having all 4 hands free. The Ghanaian Talensi appreciated it due to the woman's ability to easily extricate herself if needed, while the Chinese referred to it as the wailing monkey clasping a tree, suggesting a lively and flexible engagement. The use of furniture like chairs, tables, or car hoods can enhance this position. It's important that she can lean back against something solid while wrapping her legs around his waist. Conversely, he might sit in a chair while she straddles him. However, suggestions of her putting her ankles on his shoulders likely require uncommon flexibility and potentially some acrobatic skills. Turning positions present a further challenge, involving one or both partners changing positions while maintaining their intimate connection. These positions, such as described by the Kama Sutra, require a degree of practice to master. Examples include the matrimonial position, where the male moves to face her feet, or the upper hands position, where she turns to expose her buttocks. The foremost difficulty lies in maintaining the connection while shifting positions. If the switch involves simply reversing dominance, she might wrap her legs around his waist or intertwine their calves. Deep penetration followed by careful timing and coordination is crucial when changing direction. Often, however, it is more practical to momentarily disengage, reposition, and continue from a new arrangement. The importance of communication while experimenting with sex positions. Let's delve deeper into the intricacies of meeting your sexual needs effectively. Initially, when I approached this topic, I structured it into 2 main sections. One focused on skills relevant to any sexual encounter, whether it's your first or 50th time with a partner, such as guiding your partner's hands to areas of your preference. The other section was dedicated to skills more suited for long-term partners, like discussing a sexual issue outside the bedroom environment. However, as I developed these concepts further, I realized many skills are not confined to these categories alone. Some techniques, while perhaps more comfortably used with long-term partners, can also be incredibly effective with someone you've just met. An example of this is having an honest, immediate post-encounter conversation, like asking, "How was that for you?" This realization led me to structure sexual communication skills differently for better understanding and application. During my lectures, I categorize these skills into 5 types of sexual dialogues: kitchen table, let's have sex, provocative, in the midst, and afterglow talks. Additionally, considering the main emphasis of this book revolves around fulfilling clitoral stimulation needs, I have integrated a special section named Clitoracy Chats. I understand many of you are particularly interested in enhancing clitoral pleasure during sexual activities, and rest assured, we will explore that. However, mastering these fundamental sexual communication skills is equally crucial. Kitchen table sex talks, for instance, aren't confined literally to a kitchen setting. Rather, they can take place in any non-sexual environment. These conversations can be positive, general discussions about ways to enhance your sexual experiences further, or can serve as problem-solving sessions. In fact, raising issues of sexual dissatisfaction or other challenging topics in bed isn't advisable, as it might create a negative connotation with a place you associate with fun and excitement. Much like how sleep experts recommend keeping stress-related work out of the bedroom, the same logic applies to keeping stressful conversations at bay. Regardless of where you choose to conduct these kitchen table sex talks, whether during a walk, in the car, or at a literal kitchen table, the essential part is employing the general communication skills previously discussed. For example, guiding discussions with language like, "I think it would help me get turned on if you," is more constructive than saying, "You don't seem to know how to turn me on." Timing these conversations effectively is also crucial. Avoid squeezing them into brief intervals, like during a short car ride to a social event. Instead, select a time when there's ample opportunity to engage in productive discussions and work through any issues with patience and understanding. Thanks for tuning into our podcast. Follow us for more podcasts like this and explore fresh, exciting topics every day. With over 1,000 free podcasts on our app, there's always something new to discover. Just grab the link in our About Us section. Don't forget to rate our channel and share your thoughts. We'd love to hear from you.